All right, I have Al Cohen and Eve Adams with ACM Records. How you doing?
Good, wonderful. How are you, Jay?
Oh, just hanging in there.
Good. Giant blast and giant as ever?
Oh yeah. All right. So definitely. So first I want to start off by asking, when did you first start ACM Records, and what inspired you to want to start a record label?
I'll defer that to Al. Go ahead, Al. The label actually was a production company first.
Hey Al.
Yeah.
Hey, could you maybe get a little closer or something? I'm having a hard time hearing it.
Yeah, I'm moving over.
All right.
Yeah, how's that? Is that any better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, good. Yeah, it started as AC Music Productions back in the mid-'80s. And then it turned into ACM Records in 1990.
All right.
And the idea was that we were doing a lot of production. We were doing all different types of stuff, from commercials to hip-hop, early hip-hop. We were working with different artists at the time from all the labels in New York City. A lot of the indie labels in New York City, which included Sleeping Bag Records, Tough City, TUFF City, Select Records, those type of independent labels, working with such artists as Mantronics, Just Ice, Nice and Smooth, I don't know, all those type of the founders of hip-hop.
Ah.
And then we turned into ACM Records in the early 90s, around 1990. And we put out our first records, which was one of mine, which was Alloyd, A-L-O-I-D. And we put out Eve's record, which was Evelyn, I-V-E-L-E-N-E. So we started by putting out our own records at a, independent level. And that's how it really went from a production company, AC Music Productions, to ACM Records.
Ah. Okay. Now who are some of the first artists that you all signed?
The first artists on our label were the first artists that we worked with. Well, we were doing a lot of different things. We had a lot of records out, but we were working with artists like Jesse James. We did the New York Knicks scene, Go New York Go. Then we had a lot of people in our studio, from Curtis Blow, Jam Master Jay. And then a little later on, we worked with
Hey Al, what was that last part you cut out a little bit?
I'm sorry. We worked with Curtis Blow, Jam Master Jay from EMC.
Mm-hmm. Curtis Blow, Jam Master Jay.
Yeah. And there was a lot of those guys coming from our studio. Yeah.
Oh.
That's really the beginning of our company.
Oh, okay. So who are some of the most recent artists that you all have signed to the label?
Our most recent label signings are, the MCBX,
Mm-hmm.
the Creep Tones, which is, the Creep Tones are like a modern Beatles band, an alternative Beatles band. Shift T,
Mm-hmm.
Seven. Those are some of the newer artists that we're working with right now. We work with Steve Johnson, which is a top blues cat. He was Guitar Magazine's ultimate guitar player. He won that award, so he's like a killer blues guitar player.
Ah.
And then we work with Trio Caliente.
Oh, okay.
We can keep going.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of artists on the label.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what is your process for scouting new talent for the label?
I need to get on the
Well, hold on. Eve, you cut out a little bit.
I usually give it the old 3-second rule that if it doesn't hit me in 3 seconds or less, it doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, so if the song doesn't hit you in 3 seconds, it's a no-go, huh?
Pretty much, yeah, that's usually been my rule. Yeah.
Ah, so do you do each song? I mean, like, say for instance, like if they have more than one track, if the first track that's presented to you just doesn't hit you in 3 seconds, you're not moving on to the rest of the CD, are you? It's just pretty much that's it.
Pretty much. I generally, if there's anything that's intriguing, even ever so remotely within the first 3 seconds of the first track, then I may very quickly listen to the next track for maybe, I'll listen a second. If something affects my ear within that second, I may go to the next track, and so on and so forth. But if it doesn't, then, it's usually pretty much dead in the water. I'm pretty ruthless when it comes to auditioning new acts and new music and its production. And lyric content only appeals to me if it's something that I'm looking specifically for.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the person has a very strong track record with a lot of stats. That'll be the other exception to the rule. Usually that is the first and foremost process, and then secondary to that, when I'm just perusing and looking, it falls under the 3-second rule.
Ah, so you mostly sign artists from them submitting music, or do you guys also happen to catch someone playing live and say, oh, I like this actor? How do you?
Yeah, once in a while, if I happen to see somebody that really blows me away live, then I'll approach them, or I'll do my little research and find out if they're signed, and if they're not, then I'll approach them myself, and I'll pick their brain a little bit, and then at that level, it depends on whether I'm really blown away or not. But if I'm not, then I need to get a lot of information that may qualify them, such as what are their stats? What kind of numbers do they have, either in sales or in performances at different venues? How many people do they bring in?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of credibility do they have generally, typically, recently, press, media? Who are some of the artists that they have worked with recently, currently? Those are some of the criteria that I subject people to, really, when I'm out there.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now, have you all had to drop any artists from the label in recent history?
We don't really say that we drop them as far as discontinue their contracts, but we definitely have shelved people.
Oh, okay.
Not
What?
a good word. Strike that word, shelf. Why?
Shelved.
Yeah, I would strike that word. That's not a good word. Why? I don't think that's a good word to blast. I would say what happens with a lot of the bands that are no longer performing, they stay in our licensing catalog. Because we do a lot of music for TV and film.
Ah. So.
They just won't get heavily promoted regards to, if there's a problem, if there's a personal issue, we just kind of tend to allow them to take a more conservative back seat.
Ah, okay. Kind of like they're kind of in the refrigerator for a while, huh?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not out yet in the freezer section, but they're chilling a bit.
Yeah.
But you never know with any band that's been with us, in regards to getting the licensing and stuff like that. They could be an old band, but they can still get placements frequently in the present.
Oh yeah. Okay. So are you all currently looking for new artists for ACM Records?
Well, we're always looking for something that's unique and appealing and vibrant and exceptional to the rule. With good stats generally, first and foremost. Unless
for, one of the other departments that we run, they do charge fees to represent the artist, like a lot of people do nowadays. But, generally by and large, when we look, we're looking for statistics.
Okay. So let me ask you, have y'all had an artist who had okay, which is kind of more of a priority when selecting art? I know this is kind of an off-the-cuff question, but like say for instance, there's an artist who may need some grooming, but they have nice stats, they have a nice fan base, but their music is just not really up your alley. But they would you sign them? Or how about an artist who had excellent music? Their music was just top notch. It's like, oh, this is something new, different, but they just didn't necessarily have the fan base. Which act would you go after?
Probably the first. If they have stats, it's a business. That's first. That takes precedence. And I know I don't have to work. The company's resources don't have to work so hard. Clearly. Secondary, if the artist is really good and I like their attitude and I like their, if they possess a lot of certain criteria, humility, professionalism, reliability, loyalty, all that kind of stuff, and they've got a little bit of a buzz going on, we certainly not exclude them for sure.
Okay, so has there ever been a situation in the past where you took an artist that did have the stats, but the music just wasn't, and you kind of polished them up a little?
Oh, absolutely, sure.
Oh, okay. Would you like to name any of those artists, or?
Well, we definitely took when we signed the Creek Tones, the artist, the band that won the our battle of the bands, giving students a chance. We definitely took them and had to groom them in the studio for their first single release. Get them top-notch, worthiness, if you will, a standard. They were a little rough at the edges. And certainly another artist, her name is Liana. She's a dance artist out of the UK. And presently there's an artist named Ben, USA. He's in the U.S. right now, although he's from the U.K. He's an electronic artist. We're taking him. We're doing some songs with some producers of name, and we're doing some remixes and some cleanups and fixing them up a little bit, giving them a synthetic loop job rather than a regular loop job.
Oh yeah. So let me ask, what's the hardest part about running an independent record label?
Making money in this market, man. Yeah, it's tough.
And then keeping your integrity. Being a small company, I would say small, don't use it, an independent company, is just, really still doing it for good music's sake.
But really, it's about making the brand, man. And it's like, you got to figure out how do you keep the synthetic oil in the wheels instead of the regular. That's the basic bottom line. It's here to living, getting higher as the nut gets bigger and as the artists get more, and as the expectation in the market changes. You got a lot of change occurring in the marketplace right now. People just aren't doing what they used to do. So you got to figure out, how do I still get my fan loyalty and keep my stats growing in this current marketplace? It's a challenge.
Oh yeah.
And he likes to work internationally. He seeks and works with bands from all over the world, which will include like X Glitter, from Sweden, War Child, another one of our hip hop artists, great hip hop artist from Sierra Leone. Yeah, you gotta check out War Child. He'll be the next one. We'll be sending you some stuff for.
Definitely.
Stuff from the UK. So he's international. So international. And then we have Bolot, B-O-L-O-T, Bolot, and then where are they from?
The Alatian Mountains. That's the border of Russia and, oh gosh, where is it? Up in the Alatian somewhere, near Russia, up in the mountains somewhere in Russia, way out there.
Another group is Forever Green from Russia. So she has quite a few acts.
We have an act from Bulgaria. She's like sings this yodeling stuff, man. She's pretty wild. She sings in Bulgarian language and it's old folk music.
Her name is Ivanka. I-V-A-N-K.
Ah, okay. Now, is it a lot easier to work with the international artists than it is some of the American artists, or?
Well, international artists still, again, come to us because of our credibility and our longevity, but they also come to us because, you know, they expect slam dunk no brainers, whatever that means, you know.
Yeah.
So they're coming to us with stats, without stats, with money, without money. You know, they're coming to us in all configurations from the globe because of our credibility and longevity, still expecting the same thing, but just have a different way of expressing it, you know. May not be as greedy, for example, as the American artist, I like to say, in some instance, because Americans are spoiled in a lot of ways, but at the same time, Americans are also be humbled if you give them a new approach at getting their message out. Whereas with the foreigners, they're not so humble if they're good, and they come in with stats. You know, they have an attitude because their countries are smaller than ours.
Yeah.
So if they come in with a claim, then they expect instant standards fairly quickly versus the American artists who they come in with, you know, some stats but less standard because they understand the marketplace is highly competitive here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely understand because I know a lot of artists. I guess those artists in some of the foreign countries, you know, like you say, they're big where they're at, but then you put them over in America, they have to grow. You know.
Yeah, they have. Just, you know, they say if you make it in Europe, then you can come here and you can catch a blaze a little bit, you know, a little quicker. But if you make it here and you go there, you're almost an overnight sensation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and as long as you have the resources to, you know, to push the act wherever they may be, you know, and then even having the resources isn't enough. It's how do you represent that artist in the best possible light in the current market, in the current demographic that you're appealing to.
Let me.
There's a lot of attributes of, you know, working with artists these days. And, you know, they come in all shapes and sizes.
Mm-hmm. Is there any particular country that you mine for gold at, or you know that has pretty much the most talent seem to come from there or something? Any particular country?
No, I mean it really depends on the genre. I mean, if I wanted, you know, hardcore rock, I know I would go either to Iceland or I would go to Germany, for instance. You know, if I want, you know, heavy hip hop music, I mean, I'm right where it's at. You know, right here in the good old U.S. of A.
Yeah.
If I want country, I don't have to necessarily go to Nashville in the United States. I can go to Arkansas or Minnesota. You know.
So you have Angel Ruiz is from Spain.
Well, he's not really country. He's more bluegrass. But this dude is like Spanish that doesn't even speak English, and he has played with the biggest, you know, bluegrass cast in the United States of America, and is like one of the biggest banjo players that, you know, is awesome. This guy is unbelievable.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, he's really good. He gets a lot of attention on ACM. Then we got an Irish dude from
Jim Morris.
He's actually actually Scottish, I'm sorry, but he does Irish classic standards and Celtic music. And he sees a lot of attention because he lives in Texas. And in Texas, there seem to be a lot of diehard Irish and Scottish folks that love that old, slapping on your leg, whiskey drinking, Yankee hillbilly kind of Irishy sounding classic accordion music.
Yeah.
He makes really good money. So you just never know what's going to hit, and you never know where the artist is going to come from, and